To my right, Edgar Poe, Darnell Woolfolk, Justin Gilbert, and Jeremy Timpf. Ken, go ahead.
Maybe start with Edgar. Just your thought about coming off of last week's game, how you came prepared for this one, and then how you feel about having played a very solid game.
Means a lot. You know, a lot of emotions are going around this game. You know, a lot of the seniors feeling like we had to go out a good way, leave a nice little trail blazed, like way for the younger guys. But you know, I think the team as a whole played pretty well today.
Maybe just ask Justin. Offensive line had a big game coming off of last week's disappointment. You had over 500 yards rushing today. What was it like? What was the difference, and how you prepared for this game versus last week?
I really wouldn't say like we prepared any differently. I think we just played better, and I think the whole team played better. I mean, the offensive line held blocks better. The B-backs, the quarterbacks, slots all ran harder. Receivers were making plays, and I think that was just the difference.
Just asked Jeremy about the defense today. What was your preparation? Seemed like you were able to make plays in the Morgan State backfield on occasions. How did you feel about how your team played on defense?
I thought we played well. Definitely got put in some tight spots, and I think the defense bowed their neck in certain times and kept them out of the end zone. And I think it was good for our defense to go out there and play really well. After the last 2 weeks, we weren't happy with our performance, and it'll be good heading into the Navy.
Justin, how was the offensive line able to open up the holes a little bit more for the fullbacks in the second half?
I mean, I think it was just we were holding blocks better, getting more movement at the point of attack. And, I mean, it's pretty easy to block for the B-backs and the quarterbacks and stuff because, I mean, they run so hard. I mean, that's pretty much the only difference.
Darnell, did Coach Munkin say anything at halftime about the fullback production and wanting a little bit more in the second half?
Coach Munkin, he always stresses to the running backs, quarterbacks, slots that, you know, we have to run harder, we have to break tackles. That's the biggest thing. If we're breaking tackles, we know that we're getting, we're pushing the offense ahead, keeping on track. So I think that, I mean, that motivation always to break tackles and get yards after contact always helps. So.
John.
Darnell, can you just talk about the senior leadership on this team, what those guys have meant to this team as a whole, the success this year, and was there any a push from the younger guys to make sure that the seniors did go out with a win?
Our senior leadership on this team is actually outstanding. In practice, they're always pushing the younger guys to do better. Especially in some positions where there are younger guys who are ahead of the seniors. They don't take that like to heart. They want to see the team as a whole get better, and they're critiquing, making sure that every little detail is right, and that definitely helps the team grow, especially with the younger guys that we have on the team. So they set the example, and as an underclassman, I think a lot of us, because the senior leadership means so much to us, we wanted to come out and play as hard as we could for them. So,
Jeremy, after some kind of turbulent seasons that you had here the first couple times, what's it mean to you? Final year, you get that 6th win and technically bowl eligible now. What's that mean?
Yeah, it means a lot. There's been a lot of work put into this program over the past few years, and a lot of like just sweat and blood has been poured on the field to get to the point that we are at now, and it's feeling good to finally reap the benefits, and it feels good to know that I'm going out, and I know that it's not all just going to end here. The younger guys are really going to pick up where we left off and just carry this program where it needs to be.
Do you have any initial, I mean, expectations probably isn't a great word, but there's a possibility you could be playing a game after the Navy game. Is that something that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, it's out of our hands. I mean, if they give us a game, that'd be awesome. I mean, it's always good to play in the postseason. We haven't done it since, 2010, so obviously the guys are stoked if that possibility arises, and we're going to play it with all our effort.
Edgar, same thing. Been here a couple down seasons the first few years, but here 6 wins, bowl eligible. What's that? Same thing. What's that mean to you?
I I mean, obviously it's a great feeling, to get the possibility of playing in the postseason. We need some stuff to happen. That's, like Jeremy said, it's out of our hands. But I think the most important thing right now is to focus our sights on our next game, or one of the biggest games on our schedule. So I think that's where a lot of the guys' heads are at this time, not even focusing after what happens after that, because we can't control what happens after that, but we can control what happens in 3 weeks.
In your final game here at Mikey Stadium, get a win, get a touchdown, how important was that aspect, and to get a win on top of all that?
Well, I mean, they called the play to me, and to be honest, it was all Ahmad Bradshaw. He put the ball in perfect spot, and I just went out there. I made a play that I feel like every receiver on our team can make, and so I just feel blessed that I was in the position to make that play.
Thank you.
Ken?
Yeah, just going to ask Justin about how the offensive line came together. You had Bryce playing a full season starting this year, and you worked a freshman into the lineup today in Jackson. How do you feel like the line is maturing as the season has gone along?
I mean, I think there's a ton of people that can actually that can play. Coach Davis always harps on it that you never know when the next person up's going to be, and I think that's just how we prepare the whole offense in general. And I mean, maturity-wise, there's a lot of people that played in games, and I think that the way we prepare and how we go about our business is why we've been successful.
Just one more, guys. I know it's a 24-hour rule, I guess, in football, but after the final whistle here, Edgar, you talk about, are the sights set directly on Navy now, or?
Absolutely. We always love a win on a Saturday, but Coach talked about it right after the game, and I think I can speak for a lot of people when they're tired of hearing, "Is this the year?" That's the most annoying thing I get asked every day, and so I'm just ready for it to happen, and stop having people ask me if we're good enough to do it this year, because I know every guy on this panel right here, every guy in the locker room knows we're capable, and we know what's going to happen December 10th.
All right, thanks, guys. Coach will start with an opening statement and take questions.
Well, I don't know where to start. I'm proud of our seniors. I'm proud that they were able to get a victory in their final game at Mikey Stadium. I think probably the message that I had for these guys at halftime speaks to the expectations that we have as a program. And I think our seniors have a lot to do with building that standard of excellence that every game we hold these guys to. I didn't feel like we were playing very good in the first half. I thought it was sloppy, and we played poorly in spots in every phase, and not as well as we're capable of playing. And I told the guys that at halftime, and frankly, I think we played like that a little bit in the second half. I don't think we played like we were capable of playing the whole time, and it's frustrating. But it's because I expect more from this football team. I know they're capable of better, and I think that really, when you talk about the program in general and the changes that have been made, that's a big change. That the expectation is not only it's to win, but it's to play the best we can play, and so I think a lot of that has to do with the investment that these seniors have made and the leadership they've provided. I think they've created that culture in our program within our team, and so I'm proud of those guys, and I'm glad they were able to get a victory here. But and we talked after the football game about the importance of focusing on the next one, and we play in 3 weeks in the biggest football game. I don't know if there's a bigger football game. I guess other people involved in other rivalries would claim that theirs is the best, but I don't know a bigger football game. And so we got to get ourselves prepared to play the best we can play. And we didn't do that today. We haven't done that the last couple times out. And I know we're capable of better. I've seen us do it. And so hopefully we'll get ourselves prepared to do that. So excited about this opportunity to go play a very good Navy team and play in a great rivalry. And the signs are up all year long. We finally get to talk about it.
Go ahead, Ken.
Coach, just going to ask you about the offense. Certainly a high-performance game today. How did you feel the offensive line played, and how did you feel Ahmad Bradshaw did leading the offense?
Hard to evaluate just standing there watching it. I'll get a chance to watch the film later this evening and get into it with the staff tomorrow and then be able to talk with the team about it. There were times I know we blocked them well, and we popped out of there. We got the edge knocked down a couple of times and had some good pitch plays. But far too many times we weren't getting yards inside with the B-back and probably needed to. Just weren't getting push on double teams inside the read key or letting guys fall off of blocks or not getting the linebackers, getting the backside cut off. So there's things we're going to need to improve on a whole bunch before we play the next team.
How did you feel about the play of your fullbacks? Certainly Darnell and Andy made plays today. How did you feel about getting the dive play back in the offense effectively?
They ran hard. I know those guys had some big collisions in there, and they broke a few tackles and popped out of there a couple of times. Darnell popped out of there a few times, and Cole Masick had some long runs. But give Morgan State credit. There's some tough slugging in there for a little while, and it wasn't just one play after the other. We were ripping off. We had to work for those yards, so they did a good job defending us.
Go ahead, John.
Coach, congrats on the win, first of all. I know you're immediately shifting your focus over to Navy. Do you have any initial thoughts on being bowl eligible for the first time in your tenure here?
Well, it's as the bowl eligible stuff goes, we're going to have to wait and see on that. We don't have any control at this point, and we'll see what happens 2 Saturdays or Sundays from now when they get together and decide. And hopefully they'll see us as a team that's worthy to play in the postseason. Certainly, that's a goal of ours as a program, to play in the postseason, and I think it's a measuring stick for success for everybody that plays at this level. So it'd be great to have that opportunity, but right now we can't do anything about that. We have no control over getting in at this point. We can't worry about another game if there is one. We got one game in the world right now, and that's the Army-Navy game, the greatest rivalry in college football.
And this senior class that you got here, what have they meant not only to the team but to you in coming in when they were freshmen and really kind of being able to take ownership of them and kind of a little give and take with those guys and see them go out?
When we arrived as a staff, they were going into the spring of their freshman year. So, or going in spring, they were in the spring of their freshman year, entering their sophomore season. And so they were young in the program. And had I think really they're very I don't know what's the word, impressionable at that point. I think they were ready to accept whatever it was we were bringing as a staff, and to make it their own, and try to do everything we asked of them. And I think these guys have. These guys that have stuck it out and are here with us are a bunch of tough guys that care about this team. They care about each other. And I think, so much of what I said at the beginning of the press conference here about the culture of this program has to do with them, the investment they've made and the high standards that they've held everybody else to, led by example.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Sal.
Coach, how much confidence do you think Blake Wilson got making that field goal today?
No, I don't know. I hope he's confident. He's got a good enough leg to make the kicks. He kept his head down all the way through the kick and followed through, and that's how you do it. And it's fundamentals. So I was proud of him for going out there and knocking it through. We did a good job protecting, and you know, we're going to need to make field goals. So it's been a little frustrating the last couple of weeks, not hitting some of those kicks, but it was a good kick for him.
Can you talk about the fullbacks and the way maybe they responded in the second half and were able to get those yards that you wanted inside?
Well, I think everybody played better in the second half. It's not it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be or I thought it should be, but and I think they feel the same way. I think our guys recognize, you know, they're not sitting there saying, "What are you talking about, Coach? You know, what do you mean? Don't you see the scoreboard?" They know we're capable of playing better, not making some of those silly mistakes, and so, you know, I think everybody played better in the second half. Tried to do their job better, and it wasn't just the fullbacks. They needed some help from everybody else too.
Coach, the defense wasn't on the field, it seemed like, a lot today, but they were making plays. Alex Ackerman had a tackle for loss, so did Andrew King and John Voight. Were you pleased with the defense, the way they were able to get themselves off the field most of the time today?
I did. We had in the first half, they had the ball a heck of a lot longer than we had. I think it was 17 minutes and some change to 12 minutes and some change, and they controlled the football in the first half, though the score wasn't indicative of that. In the second half, we controlled the ball. I think overall, I looked at it, I think we had the ball more than them. We did. So we had it 31 minutes. So we had it almost 20 minutes of the second half. And so that was a better job of controlling the ball. We ran the ball, moved the chains. The one drive that probably I was most disappointed about, I talked to our team about it, talked to coaches about it, was when we punted the ball down to the 1 yard line. They got 4 first downs, punted it to us. We fumbled a punt. They get another first down, kick a field goal. They moved the ball from the 1 yard line and got 3 points out of it. I think that was the result of the drive. You guys probably know better than me, but at that point I was biting my lip. I'm surprised blood wasn't running down my face because I hate to see that. We can play better than that. We got higher standards than that, and. But I thought the defense, beyond that, did a great job. They did, the second half they didn't get a third down conversion, and that's a big down. That's the only down that really matters is third down. So you get them in the third down, you get them off the field. When we were in third down, we got to move the sticks. So we did better on both sides in the second half doing that.
All right. Thank you, everybody.